Then Daniel went to his house and made the decision known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions. We see here that Daniel, still being called by his true name, his Hebrew name, even though he was given a different name. So Arioch was calling him something different, but his name is kept in Hebrew because it is the true name, because it is the true language, because there is more power, and many other reasons. So he goes and tells his friends, who appear also with the Hebrew names, and made decision known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they might seek mercies from the Elohim of heaven concerning this secret, so that Daniel and his companions might not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. So we see Daniel's faith. He was not having faith in himself, nor his wisdom. He wasn't being prideful. He was actually being merciful, hoping to save his friends and the rest of the wise men in Babylon. So he's not being prideful. He's being hopeful that Yahweh will be so merciful as he is to reveal to him this matter, because if not, they would die. So even though he tells the king that he will interpret it in faith, he goes to his friends and tells them, yo, we need to interpret it. So let's pray. Because he knew that it wasn't according to his wisdom or his strength spiritually. It was according to the will of the Most High, and therefore they would have to go to him. Just like the king was making all the wise men come to him and then decided to kill them, Daniel goes to the King of Kings to ask for his salvation by getting the revelation of the dream that the king had had. Daniel went in and asked the king to give, already said that. Then Daniel went to his house and made the decision known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they might seek mercies from the Elohim of heaven concerning this secret, so that Daniel and his companions might not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the secret was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. The secret was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. So we see the authority that is given to Daniel, because he's pretty much having the same dream that the king had. Just like Joseph interpreted the dream of Pharaoh and ended up pretty much getting his job. So even though Pharaoh was the one that everybody honored the most in Egypt, Joseph was the one who actually deserved that honor, because of the fact that he was the one who had the wisdom, who had all the knowledge of languages. He actually had one language more than the Pharaoh, and that meant that Joseph was the one who should have ruled. So there are many reasons regarding the Pharaoh in the sense of the earthly, who was evil, but in the spiritual, heavenly interpretation, that king represents the King of Kings. So Joseph pretty much Mashiach, as in the second to the throne, and also as first and last, just in case. So then the secret was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. So Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven. Baruch le'elah Shamaya. He blessed Baruch. Well, it says actually Barich. Baruch would be in Hebrew. So I'm just doing that to show how close it is to Hebrew. It says here Barich instead of Baruch. It says le'elah instead of le'el or Eloah, and Shemaya instead of Shamaim. So verse 20. So Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of Elohim forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. We see Daniel's fear of Yahweh, which makes him wise in order to recognize that that wisdom only comes from the only Elohim, Yahweh. We see how humble he is. He never took it as, I knew it that I would get the dream because I am Daniel. Nothing like that. He realizes that everything that he receives, for which he will get gifts and honors and many other things, everything comes from the Most High. So blessed be the name of Elohim forever and ever. for wisdom and might are his. It's interesting that it is written in Aramaic. They are in Babylon, and the name is not being mentioned here. Just like Aramaic was a language that entered in order to start destroying or getting rid of the pronunciation of the name and many other things. So blessed be the name of Elohim forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. Just like in the book of Esther, the name of Yahweh doesn't appear. That is to show that in the end times, they would hide the name. They would make people avoid using the name or forbid them from using it. Elaha. So blessed be the name of Elohim forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the seasons. He changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and raises up kings. What we were saying earlier, he removes kings and raises up kings. He is the one that does everything. As it said also, he changes the times and the seasons. He is the one that fulfills everything, even through the creations that he made, just like, for instance, the sun and the moon and the stars, to have to do with the seasons, like he said in Genesis. But he is the one giving the power, the Shefa, in order for those things to work and keep on existing. So he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and raises up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise. So whoever is wise, he's getting that wisdom from Yahweh, even if that person doesn't know who Yahweh is. Obviously, if that person doesn't know who Yahweh is, his wisdom either is earthly and therefore diabolical, or is just an illusion, or is not that great because he hasn't come to know the one who gives the wisdom. And what I mean by that is that the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. So you must know who you fear in order to receive that wisdom. However, if you, for instance, love your neighbor as yourself, even though you don't know Yahweh, that is a type of fear of Yahweh, because you're doing what Yahweh is telling you to do, because you are. And what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to the name, like, not everybody has the name, not everybody knows the name, but many people claim to believe in him, and many people, or some, try to fulfill his commandments. So when we put our effort in fulfilling his commandments, is because we fear him, as in we honor him, we respect him, and we want to obey him. So when we act that way, we act in wise, in a very wise way. If you do anything differently than what the commandments tell us to do, then you're acting foolishly. So that is my point regarding even somebody who may not know the Almighty by his name may receive wisdom through the fulfillment of his commandments, because it also is written in scriptures also that the fulfillment of the commandment makes us wise. When we actually fulfill a commandment and see what that commandment does to us, the goodness that it brings, then we realize how wise it is to fulfill it. So he gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. So, and light dwells with him. I thank you and praise you, O Elohim of my fathers. You have given me wisdom and might. You have given me wisdom and might. This is also important, because it's mentioned in might, which comes from wisdom and knowledge and understanding. He reveals deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. I thank you and praise you, O Elohim of my fathers. You have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what we asked of you. Look how even when he's praying, when he's the one that received the dream, he's including his friends, because he knows that he received the dream, also because of the prayers that they sent to the Most High. So he could have said, and have now made known to me what I asked of you. But he says, and have now made known to me what we asked of you. For you have made known to us the king's demand. The king's demand.